Yeah, well, at that point, Phil Carson had come up with Victory Records, which was Japanese-funded JVC, I think, funded him with this label, and Phil, with the best intentions, like wanted Yes to make this album that was real good, and as I said, once again, Yes, we're on the cutting edge of new technology, and the album just went on and on and on forever. A couple of years. I played bass on some of the songs, and then 2 years later, when it was being mixed, I wasn't even sure if it was me even playing anymore. It was like, and I know it wasn't Alan drumming anymore. It was like, it had been through the kind of the machinery of invention, and no one's to blame for that. But that's what the time was. So in a way, Talk was an album that became very, very, had a high musical aspiration. John sang very well on it, and had some very good, authentic, lyrical, kind of meaningful ways. Of course, everything he sang was moved around to sound like Trevor wanted it to sound. But it worked, but it took forever. It was ridiculous. And, there we came out with really probably the first manipulated computerized album. And so I had to, because I've always been a fan of new technology, I had to applaud it on one hand. And then on the other hand, I thought, well, the soul of Yes has kind of been put on one side to appreciate this other side.
So how much of your bass playing do you think was actually on the album, Chris? In terms of minutes?
I think it was all me, but the the gear mania of like, how can we put Chris's bass with this synth sound and mix that together and then put that back through this discombobulated piece of machinery, and the whole like enthusiasm for that kind of period of time when all these things were available. It was hard to tell at the end of the day. Yeah, after we'd done a sort of a worldwide tour with the Talk album, we got back home, and as I said, California was my home at the time, where most of us resided. Alan White had moved to Seattle, and I guess times were changing, and I think Trevor's ambition was always to try and crack the film music market, because he was kind of he was ready-made to be the person to be able to do that, having a knowledge of scoring and piano and orchestral arrangement, and ultimately I think that was his goal, and well, that's what he's doing now, and so yeah, it came to a parting of the ways, basically.
Did he call you to say he was leaving, or did you?
I don't really remember. I think we were both just talking about the idea of, where are we going to go next, and I think pretty much, we knew that there was a time for change, and these things just happen. He wasn't fired, or he didn't really leave. It was just like a conversation that was ongoing, and obviously he had his sights set on that direction, so it kind of suited everyone.
Because there was some suggestion that he was fired from Yes. Is that true, would you say, or is that not true?
No, I don't think anyone really has ever been fired from Yes. I think people just get fed up with me, is what happened. They can't stand me anymore. They have to go.
So,
No, no. As I said, it was just a natural progression, and and it's so that decision has served Trevor very well, to go into the field he's in now.
and then after that, of course, then there was the reunion, wasn't there, with the original members? So you had the classic Yes back again. Didn't you? Was that sort of fortuitous after Trevor left?
Well, that then became a different kind of era, and that's when John Brewer became involved and allowed us to go and record in San Luis Obispo, where we eventually did a couple of shows at the end of the recording, and turned that into a DVD package and everything. And it was a neat idea in a way that Yes was only going to play these two shows in this kind of like Spielberg type American town, in middle of California, so it had its charm to it, and it was quite interesting the way the sincerest and diehard fans kind of gravitated to that, and it was a good time. We had this bank that had been gone out of business, and we just set up in there and made an album, and it was a lot of fun.
So Chris, could you tell us a little bit about La Chasse on Wardour Street?
Yeah, well, that's where I met John. And that was actually a drinking club that was just to the above and to the left of the marquee, and a lot of the musicians who played at the marquee in those days they used to go in there for some light refreshment. And I was one of those, and one day I was in there and I was introduced to John by Jack Barry, who was the owner, I believe, of the club. He was always in there anyway. And, so that's really, the Chasse Club is quite, quite famous in this day as a watering hole.
Right, thanks. And I've got a place down here. You had a rehearsal room in the basement of the Lucky Horseshoe, or on Shaftesbury Avenue?
Yeah, the Lucky Horseshoe, just over there. That was a place here. We rehearsed in the basement. It was a cafe, and we went down there. It was terrible, of course, because we had to hump all our gear up and down the stairs, and we had this is kind of difficult. We had to it was. I remember it was a very steep stairway to take the gear up and down, and we used to sort of rehearse there. And then every time we go and do a show, we'd rent a van, and then we'd pick up the gear from the rehearsal room, and then we'd bring it up and put it in the van, and drive to somewhere like Plymouth or Devon, no, Plymouth isn't Devon, isn't it? Or Cornwall, something like that. Do the show, unload the gear, of course, play the show, put it back in the van, and get back to the Lucky Horseshoe around 5 a.m. in the morning, unload all the gear back down into the rehearsal room, and then I drive everyone home. So it was good training for one's stamina. You know what I mean? Well, no, it was just, I saw a lot of interesting acts down there in those days. The Pink Floyd played there, and in fact, I'm pretty sure I saw John Brewer's, no, not John Brewer. I saw Steve Howe playing in the band he was in, Tomorrow. They were regulars down there, and you know, in the you know, that the kind of psychedelic scene, and just like this light is going psychedelic as we speak. Oh, there you go. So yeah, I mean, just it was just a hippie trippy time, you know. That's what happened down there, and you know, and I was young enough to really enjoy it, so
That's great.
that was good.
And what about the marquee? Your first gig there in August 5th, 68.
August 5th, 1968. Yeah, that was an interesting time. Was that when was Sin's first gig there, or Yes's first
I
gig?
understand it was Yes's first
Oh,
gig at the...
okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. August 5th, 68 for Yes, yeah. We were, you know, like it's just starting to tour after we've been rehearsing in the basement underneath the cafe. And I guess because we in fact we knew Jack Barry, and he was, obviously he was the assistant manager of the Marquee, and he also ran the Shas Club. We had connections, so yeah, we managed to play there. But of course, my previous band, The Sin, had also had a residency there for many years, and yeah, spent a lot of time playing at the Marquee. May even hold the record.
One
Okay.
final one. Do you want to...
we can go back to the hotel then?
Yeah, head
Yeah.
Drive and
Yeah.
answer.
We'll do that.
We were going past Regent Street. There used to be Boozing and Hawks there. I understand you bought your first Ricky bass.
Yeah, that's right. When I was, I worked there for a brief period of time when I left school as a salesman, and also a part-time packing expert. And basically, while I was there, the Rickenbacker bass, the company that I worked for had an associate store. I think it was called Rudel Carts or something, for a strange name. But they imported, I think, the first 3 Rickenbacker basses into the country, and Pete Quaife, who was the bass player with the Kinks, he had one, and then following that, I believe John Entwistle had bought the other one, and the third one was in the store, and I just grabbed that for myself. And of course, because I worked there, they gave me a very good deal, and that's how I managed to acquire my Rickenbacker.